Hey folks, welcome back to the channel. I'm Alicia and Pleshette is behind the counter. Why do I keep saying counter? You're behind the camera. She's behind the camera and Charlie is somewhere down here. I don't know what he's looking at down there, but he is here. And today we're going to continue on this series of good eats in small spaces. And if you watched our first video, we'll put a link to that below. You'll remember that I said that I was going to be making a banana bread in my Instant Pot. So this is going to be exciting, and it's going to be an experiment because I've never done this before. I've never done this kind of thing in the Instant Pot before. And why would I use an Instant Pot to make banana bread? Well, if you live in an RV, particularly one that's got a small kitchen like this and a combined living space, you might know that as soon as you turn that oven on, the whole space turns into an oven. It can get really hot in here. So I'm trying to find other ways to bake and make baked goods because we don't have a convection oven. We have a regular convection microwave. So I don't want to turn this big old oven on and turn this whole thing into a sweat box. So we're going to give it a try. So I'm going to put the link to the ingredients and the recipe below. Hopefully this all works out. It'll be an adventure. I've already mixed up the wet ingredients. I have the banana, the egg, the butter, the vanilla. I'm not going to remember all the ingredients, so just have a look at those below in the recipe. Now I'm going to mix up the dry ingredients in here, and I'll be pouring them in that pan. The pan is already prepared, and it's already got I think they call it a sling. It's already got its little foil sling on it so that I can get it out of there when it's done. So we'll see how this goes. A couple things I want to point out before I mix this up, though, in terms of tools. I talked about some of this in the organization video, but I really like these measuring spoons. They're nested, and this is not the whole set, but they're nested in here, and they have two different sides. So you have a wet side and a dry side, or is it dry side and wet side? I don't know, but it has two different sides, and they're all stuck together, which is nice. So when you're rifling around in your drawer, you're not looking for things and can't find them. So I really love those, especially for baking. And of course, I mentioned the Penzeys brand. We're going to be using the Penzeys cinnamon in this. We're also going to be using the Penzeys cinnamon sugar mix in this recipe too. So I mentioned that those were my go-to ingredients before, and so we're going to see how it works. Okay, so the thing about this that is going to be the adventure part is I'm going to be using Bob's Red Mill 1-to-1. It's a gluten-free all-purpose flour. And so we'll see how that works. So I'm going to go ahead and pour this in. And these are the dry ingredients. This is the cinnamon, the flour, and I'm sure people that bake, are like true bakers, would probably be horrified by the way that I just did that. I'm not a true baker. I will absolutely say that most of what I do in the kitchen is hacking. So, and we'll see how it comes out. And so for all of those who are real bakers, if this doesn't come out, you'll be like, well, it's because you threw all that flour in there. Yeah. So for me, cooking is fun, and it's an adventure, and so we'll see how this works out. This is my Cuisinart hand mixer that I've probably had for like 15 years. This is one of the things that made it in the cut from the RV. So, you got to have the right tools that work for you. All right, so we've got our batter here. The bananas were in that wet mixture too, just in case that wasn't, in case I didn't say that. It's quite possibly I didn't. So now we're going to go ahead and put this into our pan. We're going to come on over here. The pan is prepared. I put a little bit of oil in here, so we'll see. Hopefully it doesn't stick. Now, one of the things that they say to do with this recipe, and I'm glad this batter is looking like this, and it's not too much. Part of this channel is not only good eat small spaces, but it's cooking for 2 people. And a 6-quart baking pan, not a baking pan, a 6-quart Instant Pot is a pretty decent size, for 2 people. I do a lot of good stuff in this Instant Pot, and it's not too big for just the two of us. So we're gonna make this little teeny banana bread. Because frankly, the bananas, we needed to do something with the bananas, and we don't need that much banana bread. It's just the two of us. So we're gonna make this little bit here. Now, on top of this, we're gonna put some of our cinnamon sugar. We're gonna put some of our cinnamon sugar on top of this. And then we're gonna put it in here. It says 55 minutes on high pressure. So let's put a little bit of this on top. Cinnamon sugar. It says 2 tablespoons. I'm sure this is close to 2 tablespoons. Maybe not sure, but it looks like it's about 2 tablespoons. Okay, so this sling, you can get these things, you can actually buy a sling for an Instant Pot thing, but you know, when you're in an RV and you're working with a small space, you don't need a bunch of extra stuff. So I'm just using foil. And then I'm going to drop it down in here, and you'll see the recipe, what it tells you to do. Oops, I forgot to put the thing on top. So it says that you need to put a cover on top, but you don't want to make it tight because you want it to be able to rise. So we're going to take some foil here. We're going to take some foil, and we're going to put it on here in a way that gives this like a little, just a little place for it to cook, but not be really tight. All right. So when I used to make my apple pies in the oven, I would give it like, I would call this like a little foil hat. You know, so you're gonna put that on there. Try to get it, you know, as tight as you can get it, but still give it a little bit of room to grow in here. I'm not doing the best job, but you know, we'll see how it works. Kitchen experiments. I have a friend, Joanne, that does a lot of cooking. Gluten-free cooking, paleo cooking. She always calls them kitchen experiments. So that's what this is today. Kitchen experiment. All right, so we're gonna take it, put it into the Instant Pot here. One thing I'll say about the Instant Pot too, I had to change my ring out because I had my savory ring in here and it was super savory smelling. You know, it smells like savory food, like all the savory foods that you've cooked. So you want to make sure that you either change this out frequently or you have a separate one that you use for your baking items that's different than your sweet items. All right, so we're going to go ahead and put this in. Make sure that it's sealed. We're going to go for pressure 55 minutes. That's what the recipe says. With a 10, I think it's a 10 to 15 minute natural release. I'm telling you what, I just love this Instant Pot. All right, so we're going to see how this experiment goes. So we will be back when it's done. Okay. All right, folks, well, we are back, and it was 55 minutes in the Instant Pot with a 1.5 cups of water on the trivet, foil covered, and with the sling. And after the 55 minutes, you let it, you know, the recipe's going to tell you all this. So you let it do like 10 or 15 minutes on natural release, and then you turn it to venting, and then you take it out. So let's see what it looks like. Are we ready? So as I said before, this is gluten-free all-purpose flour, and I've never done this recipe before, so who knows what it's going to look like. So let's see. Wow. Well, I think that looks pretty darn good. That looks pretty darn good, and I'll have to tell you, I've never cooked or baked, wait, did I? No, I've never baked anything in the Instant Pot before. I've cooked in a foodie and some other things, some other tools, but not this. So this is pretty exciting to see how this has come out. And again, a great option for when you don't want to heat up your entire RV using the oven and then using propane and so on and so forth. So, wow, what a great option. So let's go ahead and cut this and see. Let's go ahead and cut it. and see what we get. Because it really looks fabulous. Yeah. Nice. "55 minutes in the Instant Pot." Am I gonna be able to get it out of here? Let's see. I don't have fancy tools here, so this is just gonna have to be yanked out of here with a knife. It'll be interesting to see what this flour is like, because again, this is well, that looks pretty good. Bob's, I mean, you know, it's hacked up, but I said that before, right? I'm a hack. Yeah, I mean, that looks pretty good. That looks pretty darn good. And you know, you'll figure out what makes the most sense for you and how you want to do this, and how you want to make your cake, and how you want to, you know, you may not need to use gluten-free flour. The one thing that I thought I might add to this, I might add some pecans, but yeah, really yummy, really yummy. So thanks for hanging in here with us. This is gluten-free banana bread in the Instant Pot. Who knew? Looks pretty darn good. Yeah, your flour might do some different things, but this looks pretty good to me. So again, thanks for joining us. Like this video, you know, give us a thumbs up if you like this video. We invite you to subscribe. Introduce yourself if you're here. If you've got some great gluten-free recipes that you've done in the Instant Pot, I would love to see those. This is actually quite tasty. And yeah, we'll see you next time. The next time I feel like cooking something in the Instant Pot or on the Blackstone or on the stove or in the oven, join us for good eats in small spaces. So we'll see you next time. Bye. Wow.